Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sarel van Grennen, aka Mr. VG, and we are almost on our last videos on straight lines. Specifically, in this video, we are going to look at determining the equation of a straight line. When we look at determining the equations of straight lines, it's important that we first of all get what the standard equation is of a straight line. So, thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned in and please start grappling with this mathematics, because now you kind of need all of the stuff we learned about in the previous videos. First of all, the standard equation is y equal to mx plus c. M is your gradient or your slope. Remember that? And in this case, it's going to be rise over run. We're going to go back to that rise over run so many times. Remember that a lot of teachers, and I love this, talk about the change in y over the change in x. And we are going to look at this a bit later on in this video. Remember, the c value is going to be the y-intercept. Most of the time in grade 9, I'd be able to read off what the y-intercept is of the graph. So let's look, ladies and gentlemen, at my type of question. What graph would be represented by that line? In other words, determine the equation. So when we talk about this, I love to start with a standard equation, y equal mx plus c. Start off with the one thing you can read off directly from the graph, and that is the c value. The c value is 6. Why is that? Because it is the y-intercept, okay? But what we now need to do is basically look at what is the gradient of the graph between 3 and 6? So in other words, between that coordinate and that coordinate. What is the gradient? So what I'm going to do is use that m is rise over run. So I'm going to start at that x equal to 3 and have a look at how do my graph change from that point to the y equal to 6 point, to those sets of coordinates. So if I start at the 3, I'm going to run 3 units, so 3 units forward. And then I'm going to rise 6 units upwards, okay? I'm going to rise up. Now I sound like that song. I'll rise up. Okay, let me not do that too much, okay? Because you guys might just have, in need of ear surgery if I continue singing that song. So what is the gradient? Rise over run. So in other words, positive 6 over positive 3. Please remember to simplify. So therefore, the gradient is 2 units. Which kind of means, remember, it's 2 over 1. So for every 2 that my graph, or for every 1 that my graph goes forward, it goes 2 units up. So therefore, y is equal to 2x plus c. Remember, the initial question was, what is the equation of that specific straight line? It's y equal to 2x plus 6. So if I now look at another one, I'm going to ask you, hit the pause button on your video and try it yourself. Starting always with a standard equation, y equal to mx plus c. I love to now go and ask myself, what can I read off? I have the c value as being 2. Why is that? Remember, that's the y-intercept. Okay? Carrying on, I need the gradient, which again I'm going to use rise over run. So now I'm going to look at going from the 2 to the 4. Look, it doesn't matter which direction you go, but I'm going to look from the 2 to the 4. So first of all, I rise 2 units down. Okay, so it's -2 because I'm going from the 2 to the 4. So I'm going 2 units down and 4 units across. So my run is +4. This means that my gradient is -2 over +4. In simplified form, -1 over 2, or -1/2. This means my equation is y equal to -1/2 x plus 2. As simple and as easy as that. But now life is not always going to remain this simple. So what if I give you this graph like that? I want you to try and do this one yourself before I do it on the video. Let's start with what we know. We know the equation is y equal mx plus c. I know that the c value is -3 because it is the y-intercept. But now we need to see how do we get to the gradient. That gradient is very, very crucial. So the gradient, again, rise over run. So I'm going to go from -3 all the way up now to +3. So how many units is that? Well, that's a whole 6 units. And now to go from that 3 coordinates, so from that point there, and move from 0 all the way across to 6, is also a run of 6 units in the positive direction, because remember, I'm moving there. So this means that m is equal to 6 over 6, which is 1. Okay. But I want to show you a very important formula for your future, which is the gradient formula. Now, a lot of teachers might choose not to show this in grade 9, but man, this is so powerful. The gradient is rise over run. Okay, I hope you are with me. I mean, I've been doing it for 2 or 3 videos now. So rise is the change in the y values, and the run is the change in the x values. So this means that I'm going to sit with y2 minus y1 because the change in means difference. So I'm taking the second y value and subtract the first y value. I'm doing the same at the bottom. The second x value minus the first x value. So in other words, if I've got 6,3 and 0, -3, because those are my 2 sets of coordinates, let's say that I make it x1 and y1, x2 and y2 for my second set of coordinates, and I do the gradient. I'm first of all going to say the second y value, so that's -3, subtract the first y value, that's 3, divided by, do the same with the x values, 0 minus 6. And that comes to a wonderful answer of 1. So my gradient is the same. So you can choose, ladies and gentlemen, which of these methods you want to use. Do you want to use rise over run? Do you want to use the gradient formula? In grade 10, 11, 12, we are going to go more and more and more towards using the gradient formula instead of rise over run. So this is Mr. VG signing out. Have a gorgeous, wonderful rest of your day, and stay tuned for the next video or 2, delving deeper into exam questions. Oh man, this is exciting times. Keep well. Cheers.